covering Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. This is WVTM 13 News.
Well, good Sunday morning. Thanks for watching. I'm John Papke. Let's first get a check of your weekend weather forecast with meteorologist Harmony Mendoza. Harmony, we had a great time on the lake yesterday. There were a few thunderstorms, I believe, to our southeast in that Tuscaloosa area, but we never felt a drop. It was perfect.
Yeah, I feel good about that. You know, and we did see that forecast showing some activity in Tuscaloosa and Bibb County, but thankfully not on the Papke family. Yeah, I always like to get that forecast right, especially because he's really serious about his front lawn, as you can imagine. Just some clouds right now through the Magic City. Temperatures are in the mid-70s. It's pretty comfortable this morning. It's one of those mornings where it's quite humid. I don't think we'll see widespread fog, but if you're driving out and about this morning, you'll notice a little bit of condensation on the windshield. Just give it a few swipes and keep moving. I'm out of windshield wiper fluid, I noticed this morning, so the defroster helps too. 75 your temperature now in Birmingham. We got up to pretty steamy temperature yesterday, so temperatures were not allowed to really cool down for a long period of time overnight last night. Again, we are looking towards temperatures pushing towards the upper 90s today. Now, this is just a forecast. We are seeing some spots heating up a little bit faster. 98 with a heat index of 104 today. We'll make some updates and let you know if this changes within the forecast, and your next chance for rain as well. That's coming up. John?
Well, thank you, Harmony. Tuscaloosa police said a man collapsed and died after officers used pepper spray during his arrest. 35-year-old Anthony Dwayne Ware was pronounced dead Friday at a hospital in Tuscaloosa. Tuscaloosa police said Saturday officers responded to a call that Ware was sitting on the front porch of an apartment. He was wanted on charges of attempting to elude police. Police said Ware ran into some nearby woods and struggled with officers when they caught up with him. Officers then sprayed and handcuffed him. Ware began to having trouble breathing and collapsed as they were walking out of the woods. Authorities said the 6 officers involved in Ware's case will remain on duty during an investigation. A woman wanted in connection with the Leeds homicide was arrested after a high-speed chase in Indiana. Leeds police say Candy Zito injured during a chase in Davies County, Indiana. They claim she was driving the stolen car of Anthony Shane Gibson. Zito was wanted for questioning in Gibson's death. His body was found burned on July 5th near Marquita Road in Leeds. He'd been last seen on July 2nd. Zito was injured in a wreck at the end of that chase in Indiana. No word on her condition. A man is charged with 1 count of capital murder in the shooting death of a Montgomery rapper. Police say U.S. Marshals arrested Marquise Flynn after he turned himself into his probation officer Thursday. He's charged in the death of 32-year-old Sylvester Fathead Morris. According to authorities, Flynn shot and killed Morris on June 28th. Police believe Morris was killed during a robbery attempt. Flynn is in the Montgomery County Jail without bond. A man shot last month in Birmingham has died. Birmingham police say they found 39-year-old Forrest Jackson on June 16th on Memphis Street, suffering from gunshot wounds. He was taken to UAB Hospital, where police said he died Thursday. Witnesses told police that a man shot Jackson during an argument, but so far, no arrests in this case. No change necessary. A senator arrested for DUI earlier this month will keep his position as chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senate President Pro Tem said Del Marsh said he has no plans to remove Senator Cam Ward as chairman. Marsh said he sees no reason to change the committee's leadership. The high-profile Republican senator from Alabaster was arrested earlier this month on a charge of driving under the influence. Senator Ward issued a public apology and said he planned to seek treatment. Fighting waste and overreach in state government, that was the focus of a speech made yesterday by State Auditor Jim Ziegler in Vestavia Hills. Ziegler told the Mid-Alabama Republican Club that the state is in a big financial mess since the Great Recession of 2008. He said since his recent election, he's come across many state agencies that are spending too much taxpayers' money.
The new Alabama Law Enforcement Agency is an example. They have been spending money very liberally, and now they're out of money and are talking about laying off 99 state troopers from our roads and highways. And we've got to get some fiscal conservatism, some restraints on the spending. We don't need to lose 99 state troopers.
Ziegler also talked about his plans for the upcoming special session, which starts tomorrow. Now, worshipers from the Church of the Highlands came together this weekend to tackle needs in several communities in the Birmingham metro area. They call it Serve Day. Thousands of volunteers rolled up their sleeves to give back. At the Dream Center, volunteers gave away free clothes and toys to people in Birmingham's Woodlawn area. The workers also did landscaping and yard work in different schools around central Alabama. Many also painted homes and cleaned up different neighborhoods.
This is the hands and feet of Jesus, and so we go out into the community and we just share the love of Jesus with people by serving them.
It makes me feel warm. It really does. That makes me feel like it brings out God and everybody can come out and get what they want and just experience, and you never know who you're going to meet at the Church of Highlands.
Well, Saturday's Serve Day was the 10th one for the Church of the Highlands, Alabama's largest church. Bluebell may be soon back in business at its Sylacauga plant. The company notified the state health department it will begin a trial run of production later this month. They won't sell the ice cream to consumers. Both state health officials and Bluebell will test the products for listeria. The company issued a national recall after the company's ice cream was linked to 10 listeria illnesses in 4 states and 3 deaths in Kansas. The contaminated products were found at the company's Texas and Oklahoma plants, but not at the Alabama facility. The city of Tuscaloosa will ban tobacco use on all city property starting next year. Officials say tobacco use will be prohibited in all facilities, grounds, and parking lots. That included areas owned or leased by the city of Tuscaloosa. Smokeless tobacco and e-cigarettes are also included in this ban. The policy takes effect on January 1st. Most Americans want to raise the minimum age to purchase tobacco from 18 to 21. A recent survey found that 7 out of 10 smokers wanted the change, as well as 3 out of every 4 adult Americans. Health experts said keeping tobacco out of teenagers' hands could keep them from becoming addicted. The minimum age for tobacco purchases varies by state. In most states, it's 18. Hawaii is the only state where you must be 21 to buy tobacco products. A large warehouse fire in Brunswick, Georgia kept several firefighter units busy on Saturday. The flames consumed 2 warehouses containing wood pellets. Meantime, a 3rd warehouse is in danger and has been sprayed down to prevent it from catching fire. Some in the area have been evacuated from their homes. Officials have not yet released the cause of those fires. A Georgia appeals court is considering whether the Ku Klux Klan can join a state Adopt a Highway program. The group has been fighting for years to adopt a stretch of state highway in Union County. An Atlanta area judge ruled last year in the Klan's favor, but the state appealed that decision. The Klan says it's been being singled out because of its views, but the state says approving the Klan for the program would negatively impact Georgia's quality of life. Georgia is now revising its Adopt a Highway program in part due to this controversy. For news anytime, day or night, all you have to do is visit WVTM13news.com. Well, coming up, more violence in the city of Chicago. Find out what happened that took the life of a 13-month-old child. Plus, more fallout from the Bill Cosby admission. Hear what one college is doing to distance itself from the embattled comedian. Harmony?
Well, the trick today will be finding some free spots to keep cool. We'll talk about that heat and when that best opportunity is to see a thunderstorm today. We do have better rain chances in the forecast in the days ahead, and we'll talk about it. Gorgeous view now from Regions. You're watching WVTM 13 News.
Well, Shelby County officials say they have recovered the car of missing 18-year-old Haleigh Green. Investigators also found a body near Green's car. Fred Davenport is live at the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. Fred, do we know whose body was found?
John, we're waiting for investigators to properly identify that body that was found, but Haleigh Green's family says they already know who it is. Haleigh Green's car was found in a wooded area off of County Road 315 yesterday, which is in Shelby County. That's not far from the area where she was last seen on Egg and Butter Road in Columbiana. Now, Haleigh did not attend class or volleyball practice at Lawson State Community College this past Monday, and that's when her mom became worried. We spoke to one of her aunts last night.
We were actually kind of relieved that she was found and that she's home, because we have been worried for days, and we are just glad she's home so we can give her a proper burial. And we have strong faith, and we're a strong family, and we're strong in numbers, so we'll get through this.
Haleigh's aunt told us she hopes someone will come forward with more information about this case, but she says justice will be served. We're live in Shelby County this morning. Fred Davenport, WVTM 13 News.
Well, thank you, Fred. That's a very sad story. Well, covering the nation for you this morning, we begin in Chicago, where police say a 13-month-old boy in a stroller died after he was run down by a vehicle fleeing the scene of a shooting. A local media station reported Dylan Harris was with relatives heading to a family outing Saturday when a driver lost control, jumped a curb, and hit him. The boy was rushed to the hospital where he later died. Police said the car was apparently fleeing a gang-related drive-by shooting that killed a 22-year-old. So far, no charges have been filed in either incident, but police are talking to suspects. Central State University in Ohio has removed the name of comedian Bill Cosby from one of its buildings. The school's communications center was named after the actor. Cosby's family has donated some $2 million to the school. In recently released court documents, Cosby admits that he obtained sedatives to give to women with whom he wanted to have sex.
I think with once again, the admissions from Mr. Cosby has caused a number of organizations to just reevaluate. And I think that's a natural thing to do. And so that's what we are doing.
Dozens of women have come forward in recent months saying Cosby drugged and raped them. Some of the accusations go back decades. The search is on in southern Texas for whoever set fire to two churches Thursday. Officials found broken windows in both churches along with bricks inside. Power was cut off at both buildings and the fire alarms were disabled. Fire officials say they also found signs that an accelerant was used in the fires. One of the churches says it will still be able to hold its Sunday service in the church today. The other church will gather in a hall next door to its church building until it is able to repair the fire damage. Police arrested a woman Saturday after she allegedly threw what appeared to be water on Baltimore's Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake. The incident occurred in a neighborhood on the city's northwest side in one of the locations where rioting took place following the death of Freddie Gray. Officials don't know why the woman, identified as 37-year-old Lakeisha Palin Sheffer, threw liquid on the mayor, but they say there is no immediate indication her actions were related to the riots. Palin Sheffer is charged with second-degree assault. Still ahead, are children and teenagers doing a better job when it comes to being healthy? Find out what areas improvements were made in and which ones continue to be a problem. Plus, danger in crayons? Well, you might want to reconsider giving your little ones that coloring book. Harmony?
All right, so it's bad my kid lives off of popsicles, and I know for a fact he's eating a crayon, so yep, I gotta take the forecast seriously because at least I know what's going on in that department. Stay with us, a beautiful view. Now check out the pinks and blues in the sky there. That's a live shot from our region's field camera looking east. Stay with us, you're watching WVTM 13 News. Welcome back to WVTM 13 News. You're looking at a live shot right now from our region's field camera. The Magic City looks so beautiful and majestic. A lot of that moisture, that's humidity, folks, but it does sure make for a pretty sunrise. We're going to talk about that heat today. There are some areas under a heat advisory, but check this out. Heavy storms here. Severe weather has caused major problems in countries across Europe. After days of heat waves that affected most of Romania, storms and heavy rains moved across the eastern and southeastern parts of the country. Now, in the town of Reddu, hundreds of acres of lands were destroyed by heavy hail. Many cars and buildings across the country were also damaged by the severe weather. Check out the dark skies there. Forest fires in Spain now, on the other side of the token, have ravaged more than 14,000 acres as the country reels under a record-breaking heat wave and the start of the wildfire season. So heavy downpours there. And then on the flip side of the token, this is all in Europe, granted, they are talking about wildfires. Now, doesn't that scenario sound very similar to our weather pattern we had a couple of months ago? Yeah. And they're also looking at some cold fronts pushing through. So a lot of activity across Europe and across the nation here locally. We're just going to be talking about heat. And that's our story we're always singing around this time of year, right? It's July. We saw some diurnal shower and thunderstorm activity pop up as scheduled in areas of southwest Alabama County. Thankfully not around Lake Tuscaloosa. I know a lot of folks wanted to get out yesterday and enjoy the day. Here's one thing we have to worry about though. From 12 p.m. today, which is basically lunchtime, and into dinner time, 7 p.m., we're talking about a heat advisory. Now, although Jefferson County is not included in this heat advisory, keep in mind because of the amount of urban sprawl here and the buildings and the traffic, it still can get pretty steamy out there, so you want to limit your outdoor activities if you can. Thunderstorms will be continuing across areas of southern Indiana and moving into the Ohio Valley for today. Cloud cover will be the only feature, and the only hope for some shower and thunderstorm activity will be later this afternoon when those dew points get very high. 75 your temperature right now in Birmingham, 80 in Memphis. It's going to be white hot today. You've heard that as an expression. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about in just a moment. The only cool spot can be found in the Rockies down into Denver, and that's just about it. The hot weather will continue. Heat index value could be 100 to 104 and still only a chance for an isolated thunderstorm. And the thunderstorms won't last for very long, and like I said, they will press southward because this hot, dry upper level ridge still the weather story. Here's how the weather elements move around today. Small pocket of stable air in the western and northwestern portion of the Gulf of Mexico. All that means is we will see westerly winds because it has a clockwise motion. Westerly winds will prevent a lot of us from seeing any widespread thunderstorms today. So we're forecasting temperatures to continue to be in the upper 90s because rain chances are even slimmer today, if that's a word. Some thunderstorms will dip into the Appalachians as a front sinks farther southward, but notice these weather fronts are moving into the Ohio Valley but not making it far south because we're underneath that heat bubble. Forecasted at 2:15, 98 degrees, heat index of 104. So between 12 and 7, folks. I know a lot of folks, you have the plans. Church early service, that's probably your best bet today. Get out there early. You can get inside, get that lunch, and then try to spend the rest of your day like I do, entertaining my toddler. 96 degrees, that's your forecast high for today. And if you get the isolated thunderstorm, it'll take your temperatures down briefly, but the humidity, yeah, that's not going anywhere. 75 your temperature for tonight. 7-day forecast looking like the carbon copy. Summertime fun forecast. Best chance for rain, I think, moves in by about Tuesday and Wednesday, as we do see a little bit more moisture and an upper level feature. But in general, we're not going to see any real break from the heat, at least not until next weekend. John?
Wow, that's great news. No break for a week. One advocacy group said it found traces of asbestos in children's crayons and toy crime lab kits. Now it is calling for a ban on the carcinogen in consumer products. The newly released report from the advocacy group said 4 of 28 boxes of crayons tested positive for asbestos. And asbestos was found in 2 of 21 toy crime lab kits it evaluated. Some stores that sold the product say they are investigating the report's findings. Breathing in microscopic asbestos fibers has been linked to serious health problems, including lung disease, lung cancer, and mesothelioma. A new federal report on key health indicators of kids and teens in the U.S. has some good news and some bad news. 11% of teenagers experienced a major depressive episode in 2013, up from 9% in 2004. Those who received treatment for depression fell slightly during that time, but the nation saw declines in the number of youth with asthma, kids living in poverty, and babies born prematurely. 83% of kids and teens had a checkup in 2013, up from 73% in 1997. Also, fewer high school students are smoking and binge drinking. Diners will have to wait a little bit longer before calorie labels appear on the menus of all chain restaurants. The FDA announced restaurants have until December 1st, 2016 to comply with the federal menu labeling rules. That's 1 year beyond the original deadline. Restaurants and other retailers said they needed more time to put the rules in place. The rules require establishments that sell prepared foods and have 20 or more locations to post calorie information on their menus. Well, important medical news for the millions of Americans who take pain medication. The Food and Drug Administration has strengthened warnings that some of the pills raise the risk for heart problems. Erica Edwards reports.
The labels on popular painkillers like Haleigh and Advil already caution users about possible heart risks. Now the FDA is strengthening those warnings.
They've raised it from these may cause an increased risk of heart attack and stroke to they do cause an increased risk of heart attack and stroke.
The warning covers both prescription and over-the-counter versions of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs. They include ibuprofen and naproxen, used in millions of homes nationwide to bring down fevers and ease pain. Now some consumers are wondering whether they should take them at all.
The risk is small for taking a pill for an individual for a short period of time, but these drugs are in such wide use that the risk for the population becomes quite large. So it's important that everyone's attentive to this and take these drugs only if you need them.
The new warnings will add that the risk may occur within a few weeks of taking the medication and may be larger for people using them long term. Experts advise taking the smallest dose you need for as short a duration as possible. That goes for kids too. There are alternative painkillers like acetaminophen and aspirin, but doctors have an important reminder.
Like with many over-the-counter drugs, there is always a risk and you have to weigh the risk-benefit.
The bottom line, talk to your doctor, especially if you already have heart disease, high blood pressure, or take painkillers frequently. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
Well, don't go anywhere. We're coming back with more news and weather on the Sunday morning. You're watching WVTM 13 News. Stay with us. Well, good Sunday morning. Welcome back. Thanks for watching. I'm John Papke. Let's again get a check of your weekend weather forecast with meteorologist Harmony Mendoza. Harmony, you said it's going to be 7 days, huh? 7 days.
It's going to be 7 days in my 7-day forecast. Yeah,
I can't wait to see that.
Well, you know, you're going to have to wait, Papke. I'm serious. Or
okay.
John, you're going to have to wait. Now, I got to tell you, we are going to see some of the hottest temperatures, though, today. And yesterday, we got pretty close to that heat index.